Hello everybody, Turner from Mountain Made Fitness Collective.
There we go.
Yeah.
January 1st.
January 1st. Okay. Start again. Hello everybody, Turner from Mountain Made Fitness Collective and
Steph.
we are January the 1st and we're going to go through some deadlift techniques. We've got a workout coming up and then some pulling accessories. So deadlift is a fundamental movement. It is one of the most functional movements, so you have to do it every day to pick up your groceries, to pick up a child, to pick up a dog, to get it in the car. We might as well do it right.
Yeah, if you live in Revelstoke and we get a lot of snow here, so shoveling, it's a really great one for shoveling as well.
Absolutely.
And if you're a snowmobiler, digging your sled out.
Absolutely. So, Steph's going to pick up this bar. We're going with a men's bar today for Steph. We often, if we're lifting together, we'll do a men's bar instead of just a women's bar. So let's go for that. Let's pick that bar up. She's going to stand tall. Okay, so I like to teach this movement from top down. So she's thumb distance off her thighs. So the tips of her thumbs will touch her thighs. That's a good rule of thumb to go for. And now she's just going to wrap her fingers over her thumbs and go into the hook grip. So if you can't do that, if that's really uncomfortable, don't worry, you can cut it out. But the reason why you do it is 3 fingers are controlling 1, so you have a lot more grip there versus 1 finger controlling 1. Okay, so she's just going to go to the top of her knees and back up. And back down to the top of her knees. And back up. She's going to turn to the side for you now, so you can see this. So yeah, let's step back that way into the rig. Perfect. Okay, so top of the knees, and back up. And again, top of the knees, and back up. She's going to stay there. Sorry, back down, top of the knees. Okay, so you can see her back, nice and straight, slight arch in it, but she's not rounded. Show me a rounded back. Okay, don't want to see that. It's going to displace the weight through her spine the wrong way. Now let's go back into that arch back. Okay, perfect. Now, see, she's got straight shins. So once she's past her knees, she can bend. So she's going to get past her knees and she's going to bend. Good. She's just going to that mid-shin position. Now we can see it's going knees, hips, shoulders. So the hips are in the middle point between the shoulders and the knees. So if she comes up slightly with her chest, good. There we go, bum down a tiny bit, there. Okay, so we've got that triangle position, that's what we want to look for. Okay, stand tall, great. Back down, hinge, and bend. Good, standing back up, good. Now she's going to go again, hinge, and bend, okay, and stand. So what's happened is she's cleared the obstacle of her knees. She's able to go straight down, it's hanging there, she's displacing this energy perfectly through her body, and she's braced through the spine and the core. Now, one of the most common faults that we see is a squat deadlift. And the thing is, if someone's teaching you a squat deadlift, and they've supposedly got years of training experience, they don't know what they're talking about. Okay, so she's going to squat down. So squat deadlift's hard to do. No, so she can't even do it. Okay, so just squat. Remember? Yes. Okay, so look, the shoulders are behind the bar, right? That is a key point there. Your shoulders want to be in front of the bar, okay? So the bar hangs down and stand tall. So let's say she does that squat deadlift. Squat, good. Keep squatting. Look what's happening. The bar is running down over the thighs, then has to clear the object. You try and do this with something heavy, it's not going to happen. Okay, hips up a tiny bit. Good. And stand tall. Nice. Okay, so we're going to go back down, hinge, and bend. You see the difference? Shoulders in front of the bar is hanging down, hips are nice and high, and that middle piece hips down a tiny bit. There. Stand tall.
Versus.
Oh yeah, and stand tall. Okay, cool. So another option is when we go for a really, really high hip. Okay, so often happens with the taller guys. Not the worst thing, but definitely loads your back a bit more, hits more of your hamstrings. So if you're doing bodybuilding style and just trying to hit those hamstrings, but when we're trying to lift heavy load, this isn't going to be the best way. So standing tall, good. So we're going to show you that again. So just a really like a straight leg, stiff leg style. Steph's going to go for it, so keeping those hips nice and high. Okay, so this one's just going to load that lower back a bit more, fatigue the hamstrings more, and for a heavy load you don't want to do it, so standing tall. So back to what you do want to do. That's it, and stand tall. Nice, and one more time. Excellent. Nice. So this movement is a phenomenal exercise. You're getting upper body, core, legs. It's a full body movement. If you want bang for your buck, you've got not much time, and you want to do something that's going to really supercharge you for that day, deadlifts are one of the ones to do, okay? They're a phenomenal movement. Don't be scared of them like a lot of people. Like, let's learn the proper technique and then let's use that. We teach it from the top down, okay? But it does start here, okay? So that's something that you want to think about. So here, your mid-shin position, often because the plates are around that height, and then standing tall. And then back down, that is one full rep, okay? And stand tall. But the standing point isn't where we often get it wrong. And from our teaching experience, teaching hundreds of people on a weekly basis, it's not this point. Everyone gets this point. They stand up, perfect. Everything gets out of the way, things tend to work out. Sometimes it's a bit out of order, but this is the way where people tend to mess it up, is on the way down. They're like, well, I've got to get down there, so I've got to bend my knees. Okay, so that's the reason why we taught it that way. But it does start at mid-shin. So Steph's going to go through a full rep. That's it, and back down. That's one full rep. Okay, so one thing also, when we teach kids, because we teach adults, kids, we teach such a wide demographic of people, athletes, returning mums from not doing anything and returning dads from not doing anything, and then children as well. Now, if you can teach children, you can teach adults because you have to use different techniques. But one thing is, visuals are huge there. So we use angry gorilla a lot. Now, a gorilla doesn't sort of stand like this. If you think of an angry gorilla, it's chest up, it's proud, it's here. So I want you to think about that, you know, that chest up, that tight engagement before you lift, because you don't want slack in the chain. It's a bit like you're changing gears on a bicycle and you're suddenly going bang into that slack chain. You break the chain, okay? So we want tension throughout. So when I lift this now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set myself up, thumb distance off the grip line for me now. Here I am, I'm in my angry gorilla position. I've got tension, I'm tense through here. I'm not slack and then push, okay? Now you see that happen, it's not a good way to lift, okay? So create the tension, then drive through. So from here, I'm going to create that tension through, here I am, and then I'm lifting through. And now I'm keeping that tension all the way through this lift. I'm not disengaging at any point and then re-engaging, okay? And that is where an injury could occur.
So just a couple things that I think about when I come to the bar. I'm thinking about my feet position, really grounding my feet and driving through my feet and using my legs in this deadlift as I pull. So I want my hips and shoulders to rise at the same time. As the bar gets heavier, one of the common faults that you see people doing is rising with the butt first, and then you get into that straight leg pull, which really lowers the lower back. So you really want to think about, I really think about pushing through my feet, hips and shoulders rising together. When you start to learn the deadlift, sometimes it feels really mechanical, but then once you do it and you practice it, really, you're gonna get that muscle memory and you're just gonna start to do the lift. The lift just comes to shoulder, right? If you were in a powerlifting, hips, right? Not to your shoulders. I can't get this bar to my shoulders. So yeah, we return the bar back down to the ground, but you could, if I was gonna do my 1 rep max, like my heaviest lift, I could just get this bar to my hips and then I could drop it. But we build a lot of strength on the return down to the bar, and often in CrossFit, when you're cycling a deadlift, you're cycling the barbell, with multiple reps, you have to go up and down, okay?
The key, just one key, Steph's made a really good point there about the hips and shoulders rising together and the technique of this movement and feeling quite mechanical at the beginning. do it at light load.
Totally.
Do it with a tiny bit there so you can feel it. But I'm talking like empty bars are great, really great. But when you do it with a PVC pipe, sometimes you move that pipe any way you want, so it doesn't give you information for are you moving it correctly. So an empty bar is a great way to learn the deadlift.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about my feet, hips under, hip width apart, and then when I get to the bar, finding my position, I just know that position, and then I really think about creating that tension with the bar before I pull, and really driving it through my feet here. I'm gonna go.
Every rep should look the same. And if it doesn't, and if it starts to break down, go down in load, okay? There is no point in practicing in and ironing in bad technique.
So today's 5x5, our strength piece stays deadlift, and we are doing ascending weights. So we're going up, so I started around, I don't know, 190.
You started 175.
Oh, 175, and so yeah, so I'm just going up and just getting to a heavy 5x5. I haven't done a lot of deadlifts lately. I've been really focusing on the Olympic lifts. So another thing to think about is your grip. So as this bar gets heavier, you can switch to an alternating grip. So that's where the elbow crease will be forward of one hand, and then my hand will be in my regular grip on my other hand. And you can figure out which one will feel better. You'll naturally go to whatever one feels better. So I try to stick as long as I can to my forward grip, because that's more transferable into the other lifts, into the Olympic lifts, like the clean. So that's why I really focus on this way. So I'm gonna stick to this. You can see I'm wearing a weight belt. I really like my weight belt. I'm a master's athlete, so I feel like I'm allowed to wear a weight belt. It makes me feel comfortable. But you really want to not rely on that weight belt for that bracing in your core. You want to be able to work your deadlifts without a weight belt until you get to a heavier weight. Then you can use your weight belt, but we really you want to have that core strength. You want to be able to brace the core before you start to lift.
Tough workout. Yeah.
There's not a lot of rest in between. It was like a nice little short transition time between each one.
Yeah.
I was working on chest to bar today, so strict chest to bar. And it's crazy how much harder it is to get here than it is to get here. It's so much more effort. So I was doing sets of 5, and I think singles and 3s and 2s, so small sets.
Yeah, for me, I was just doing stricts, something a bit scrappy, I think, just going for 10s. I find when I go to the chest to bar, it bugs my shoulder, so I have to be a bit careful about that one. But EMOMs are a really great way of getting in like skill and fitness in terms of, putting those things together with other things, getting your engine going on the row. I mean, the row really affected after about the 3rd round, really affected my pull-ups, but the pull-ups and the row weren't massively affecting my handstand push-ups because slightly different muscle groups going on there. Yes, we are recruiting some of the same ones, and also breathing hard weakens the core or makes it harder to brace the core, moreover. So
yeah, for me,
they do have their effect.
For me, handstand push-ups are my weakest movement. So to do them in EMOMs is always a great way to get in a lot of volume, get in a lot of reps throughout. As you can see, I started to lose them. I had started with 5s, and then I was down to 3s, and then I think I ended with some 4s. But yeah, that's a movement that is a constant work in progress for me. Just have to keep doing them and get stronger at them.
Yeah, and then on the row, 12 calories for Steph, 15 calories for me. Recently I noticed the 15 because I think I've been doing sort of like 10 in workouts.
Yeah.
I've been like, oh, I'll just do a 30 seconds, hammer out a 10. And to do the 15, I was like, oh, yeah, I can feel that.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. It brings that to about like, yeah, you're getting off that rower in like 40 to 45 seconds. So it's like not a lot of time to transition over to the pull-ups. So.
Yeah, well, I hope you enjoyed today. If you've got any questions about the deadlifts, about anything in the Metcon, if you've got questions about movements, please ask us.
Yeah.
If you've got questions about programming, please ask us. We've been programming for at least 7 years now, and love to get questions and give feedback and stuff like that.